Okay, so I've had a couple things come about PTSD from a couple of different sources, and what I wanted to do is just give you guys kind of a quick note about sort of some things you can use NLP for to deal with PTSD and get it to suck less for you. The experiences that happen to you, they're part of your biography, they're not going to go away. We can't change your history, but we can change how you feel about it. We can change whether it injures you or not. We can learn to kind of manage your internal terrain and your thoughts and your ideas and your emotions in a way that allows you to get beyond this, so it's not a non-stop hamper on your experience. NLP doesn't really concern itself much with why, right? In psychology, if someone says, gosh, I'm depressed, we'd ask them, why are you depressed? What happened when we were younger to cause you to be depressed now? Neurolinguistic programming is more concerned with the stuff you do in your head to create an experience. And if there's certain ideas, certain lousy memories and stuff that I run through my head over and over and over, I can run myself into a depression. I can become an expert at reaching the state we call depressed, right? So there's an act, Sherry Huber, fantastic authors, made the whole thing about when you're depressed is because you're doing depressing things, right? And the depressing things are something we do on the inside. And if we do something else, then we end up reaching a point where we no longer need to hang on to that depression. PTSD is much the same way, in as much as there's something we have to do in our heads to keep it alive and well, thriving and healthy and strong. And if we stop doing those things, we do something different. We might not get rid of it, but we can regain some control over it so it doesn't injure us as much and it doesn't suck as much. In NLP, we talk about strategy, right? And a strategy refers to the things we do in our minds, the ideas that we have, the visual memories, the memory of the event itself. As we thought about the memory over time, what are the other images we've made up in our minds and attached to that memory? What were the sounds that happened at the time? What were the things we said to ourselves when it was happening? What are the things we've said to ourselves about the event since the event? And then those become attached and become part of the event. And then finally, obviously, how do we feel about it? How do we feel? Where do we feel? How did we feel in our bodies when it was happening? How did we feel in our emotions when it was happening? How do we feel about having felt that way? All of these things get lumped into a big, what in psychology they call a gestalt, right? There's all these different memories, ideas, thoughts, emotions, meanings, that all get lumped into a big ball. And then we run that ball like a YouTube video, right? And we keep running it and running it and running it and running it and running it. And we do it over and over and over. And the running of it wears us down and wears us out. And freaks us out and ruins our psyche, and that's PTSD. So we become really good at creating the state, right? The neurons in our brain will even develop more connections and thicker axons so that the individual brain cells become better at running this memory, right? The more we do it in YouTube, the better the computer got at running that one video. That's kind of what goes on in your brain. What we went on to do is make our brain worse at having that experience. When they talk about a strategy in NLP and transforming meaning, if I have certain thoughts, feelings, emotions, right, I'm going to have a certain experience or a certain meaning attached to them. I'm going to have a certain experience of life. If I don't want to have that experience of life anymore, I want to change my thoughts, memories, the way I feel about them, the images that I run in my mind. I want to change the content of the video, or I want to change something about the video. If I take that gestalt, and in order for it to mean why, if I'm a location-driven person, I have to have that gestalt right here. And if I move it over here, the suck goes down. Or if I push it further away, the suck goes down even more. So there's things I can do while I'm running that video to monkey with it, just to screw with it, to scratch the record so it doesn't play right again. And then see what happens as I start doing more and more things. As I'm scrubbing that video, I can superimpose and dump on it a bunch of strange noises, you know, like cats screaming or a lousy heavy metal song or maybe my favorite song in the world. And if I get that to join the gestalt, because there's a different ingredient in the cake, I'm going to have different cake. Right? So in order for me to change my experience, I have to change some part of this thing. Like if I change the location, if I change the imagery in my mind, if I change what I say to myself when I'm looking at those imagery, if I change any one of those things, I change the equation. And if I change the equation, I change the outcome, right? One of the founders of NLP was a mathematician, and he noticed that thoughts, memories, emotions, and meaning all followed a very formulaic approach. In order for me to feel this way, I have to do these things in my head. If I change the things I do in my head, I change the way I feel, right? So that's part of what we want to do, is to teach you to kind of scrub the video and monkey with it. Scrub the video, that's what we're talking about. In addition to scrubbing the video, a really important part is changing how you feel about all the players in the video. And in particular, that's the three most powerful emotions for creating transformational change are love, acceptance, and forgiveness, right? So what that consists of is loving yourself. Right? Usually when we go through one of these experiences, we experience a lot of self-loathing, both from the event and then the time since the event. As I run through the memory in my mind, I become really skilled at having this problem. I also start hating myself because I'm looking at all the things I could be doing that I want to do, but I can't. I look at the things I do as a result of having this dysfunction or this pain or this misery, and I go, I don't like who I am when I do those things. And I develop a lot of self-loathing. So I have to learn to go back to that video, and then all the time since the video, and as I just call up these memories, call up these emotions, these ideas, I love you, I'm sorry, I forgive you, right? And doing that as you work your way through each phase of these memories, these ideas, these things that run through your head, will start to change how you feel about the content of the video and how you feel about the memories. You also have to love, accept, and forgive every player in the video, every player in the scene, every player in the memory. The people that were part of the process of injuring you, they wouldn't have done that if they were healthy, well-adjusted, and loving people. They did that because they were broken and fucked up assholes. And holding up a shield of energy against their brokenness and their assholery takes energy from you and feeds the problem, right? It robs you of your energy that you would use to live life and feeds the problem, keeping the problem alive and well in your head, which is that you can continue to be an expert at having PTSD. When you start looking at the other people in the memories and saying, I'm sorry, not for what they did to you, I'm sorry your life sucked so bad that this seemed like a good idea at the time. This seemed like the best you could do with what you had to work with. And that's really, truly horrible. It might take a while to get to forgiveness, but forgiveness doesn't mean just mouthing the words forgiveness. It's a loving kindness point of compassion from which you say, ugh, what an ugly tar you must have picked up in life, what horrible experiences you must have had as a child, how many active things that were awful happened to you, how many things good that should have happened to you didn't. I'm sorry you had that life. And work on forgiving and accepting them, and even at some point loving them. Maybe not for who they are or what they've done, but as a part of creation. You can chunk up, go bigger picture. As a child of God, I'm sorry you went through that, I love you. That was truly horrible for you. And if they had that love, they wouldn't have been the person they were who hurt you, right? And the big final piece is, nature abhors a vacuum. Brains don't do well when they don't have something to do. And if we're going to stop having the problem, we have to give you something else. If we take one lifesaver away, we have to give you another. And even though the first lifesaver is a busted joint with holes and rips and tears, it's the only one your brain has. And if you go, took away your PTSD, the brain is going to go, crap, I need something. And the thing it will do first is reach for the familiar. It'll yank it right back again. So as we scrub this, as we love and forgive, as we change the content and the way we associate the content, as we turn those memories inside out just to see what happens, right? Push them into the distance just to see if that changes how we feel. Love and forgive everyone in it. You also have to dedicate some time to saying, who am I when this is no longer a problem in my life? When there's a next version of you. This isn't actively you anymore. And this is a thing in your past, just like the 5th grade was. And they're not in 5th grade anymore. So you don't still look or identify with being a 5th grader. When this is something that's gone, it's in your past, it's no longer part of your world, who will you be next? And start putting some thought into how will you stand, how will you move, how will you breathe, what will you say to yourself, how will you move when this is no longer part of your life, what will your next area of concern be, what would you be worried about if you weren't worried about this, right? What are the things that you would do with your time if this wasn't an anchor around your ankle? If you were able to move on with your life, move forward, leave this behind, who are you in the next you? And take some time to think about the answer to that question. And then also in your mind, when you're just laying there falling asleep at night, practice stepping into that. You breathe the way you'd breathe if that was you now. Think the way you'd think if that was you now. Say to yourself what you'd say to yourself if that was you right now. As you're driving around in the car, orient to it at work every hour. Make it a point to consider who you are next and then move that way. Think that way. Say to yourself what you'd say that way. Picture the world that way. See the world when you feel that way. When you are that person, what does the world look like to you, right? And how are you in the world when you're that next version of you, because this thing's gone and done, right? So these are just some quick ideas. Take some time, do it. They're drills, they're things you can work with, and they'll change the meaning. Instead of sucking 10 out of 10, it'll suck 5 out of 10. Give it a shot, and I'll stay in touch.